The Bad Batch Episode 2, titled Cut and Run, just released on Disney+, and like always was full of wonderful Easter eggs, details, and references to other Star Wars media. The series got off to a massive start with the first 70-minute episode with yet another depiction of Order 66, and this second episode takes off right where the last one ended, and includes a few cameos and familiar faces, and a bunch of stuff you might have missed. So here are 12 details, references, and Easter eggs in The Bad Batch Episode 2, Cut and Run, and that name is a pun. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So in this episode, we see Clone Force 99 do both those things, cut here and run here. And if you're a long-time fan of the Clone Wars, you'd probably remember this dude here with the hairy sideburns. This is Cut Lawquane, who first appeared in Season 2 of the Clone Wars in the episode called The Deserter. Cut here is the Deserter. He's a Jango Fett clone, but after seeing his fellow soldiers killed sometime after the Battle of Geonosis, Cut fled, deserting the army, possibly one of only very few clones to have ever done so. Cut settled down on Seleucami, married Sue, and adopted 2 children, all of who are seen in this episode. Now, in the first episode of The Bad Batch, at the end, Hunter gives the order to set a course for J-19, aka Seleucami. So we were all right last time about them going to visit Cut. But how do they know him and his family in the first place? They would have had to have met sometime following Rex's first visit. Also, the kids call Wrecker their uncle, so they seem to have some sort of relationship prior to this meeting, in which Clone Force 99 would have previously visited Seleucami. Now, you might be wondering, if Cut is a clone just like any other, then what happened to him during Order 66? Did he receive the order, and did his behavior change? Well, unlike droids, clones are capable of their own thought, right? They're able to be rational and have opinions. The only thing they don't have control over is their inhibitor chip programming. So what happened here with Cut? Well, he mentions that Rex told him about the inhibitor chips, so he knows he's probably got one in his brain, and there are a few theories floating around to explain how it actually affected him. The first is that it had no effect, because Cut simply didn't have any Jedi to kill. He's not part of the clone army anymore and stopped following orders a long time ago. Therefore, the chip likely had no effect. Other people say he was out of range, being in the outer rim for the transmission to go through. I don't really agree with this. I feel this wouldn't be a limitation of the technology. There were clones fighting all across the galaxy, so why would the fact Cut is on Seleucami have anything to do with it? And the other theory is that the chip did in fact affect Cut, and he acted strange for a few days, but that was about it. Its effect wore off. Again, he had no Jedi to kill, so didn't really do anything. But what do you think? How did Cut experience the Order 66 programming? Did he secretly kill a Jedi? Alright, next up, in the opening scene, as the Bad Batch's ship comes down to land on the planet, we get this shot of a few native animals. The little ones are known as Nuna, small swamp birds originally native to Naboo. First saw them in The Phantom Menace. And then this guy here is a Nexu, that dangerous feline we see Padme fight in the Petranaki Arena on Geonosis, the one that leaves the scratch marks on her back. It also makes that same distinct sound as we hear in Attack of the Clones. Okay, next. This episode actually had a strong crossover with themes explored in The Mandalorian. Omega can be easily compared to Grogu because of a similar turn of events. Hunter wants Omega to stay with Cut and his family. He thinks she'll have a better life, and sticking with Clone Force 99 is no life for a child. The same words come from Din Djarin. He wanted Grogu to stay with Ahsoka, that a bounty hunter's life was no life for a child, and wanted Ahsoka to raise Grogu and teach him in the Jedi arts. But both Omega and Grogu want to stay with their adopted dads. They both have a bond and connection with Hunter and Din respectively, and therefore reject their father's wishes. Which, let's be honest, is likely a good thing for the fathers in both scenarios. The children help the grown-ups learn just as much as the grown-ups help the children. Now, we've known for a while that Captain Rex is going to make an appearance, or perhaps several appearances, in The Bad Batch, but it might be coming sooner than expected. Cut mentions that Rex actually passed by just yesterday, the day before Clone Force 99 dropped in for a visit. And just as Clone Force 99 now wanted men, so too is Rex. So it's likely they'll meet up and join forces in uncovering more about the fall of the Republic and what to do next. What happens happens to the Bad Batch in the end? Do they all die? Do they join the rebellion? And do they actually have a role in helping form the rebellion? We know Rex is involved. This is him here on Endor in Return of the Jedi, the best Star Wars retcon ever. So at this point, how long's it actually been following Order 66 and the formation of the Empire? A couple days, a week maybe? Well, it seems like Palpatine is the galaxy's most organized supervillain, because all over this new Imperial outpost is the Imperial Logo. It shows up over and over again throughout this episode, and also made an appearance on Kamino in the first episode. It's pretty crazy to think that Palpatine already had all this stuff ready to go. I felt like, this stuff would have taken a while to kind of transition to, but no, it's here. It's happening right away. I wonder if Palpatine designed the logo himself in Photoshop or commissioned someone else to do it. So, I need a new logo for this new thing I'm doing. It's called the Galactic Empire. So when Hunter and Cut head into town looking to book flights off-world, they meet this alien, and she says,
"Those credits won't do you any good without a chain code."
Now, even though she's talking about the chain code, which I'll get to in a bit, to me, this sounds like an indirect reference to Watto, who spoke the famous words,
"Public credits? The public credits are no good out here."
So let's get to the chain codes. Now, chain codes first showed up in The Mandalorian. Each Mando has a chain code in their armor showing its history and identity. In Boba's chain code, we can see Jango Fett, as well as Jalston Mareel, who was Jango's mentor. But in the Clone Wars, the Empire is issuing a chain code to everyone, basically a form of registering people within the Empire and keeping track of every living human or alien. A massive galaxy-wide filing system which requires you to have a chain code to get anywhere and travel between planets. The Bad Batch helped Cut and his family acquire forged chain codes, so it's likely this new chain code system will play a larger role in future Bad Batch episodes. Everyone's got a designation number, and they even make the reference that clones are all trying to have real names, even though they all have a designation number, and now the Empire is basically making everyone a clone they can keep track of. Alright, so when the clones come to inspect the Bad Batch's ship, they open this door, and here on the floor we can see Wrecker's doll Lula. This is the one Omega found for Wrecker in the first episode, and the doll is actually a Tuka, a reference to the Loth Cat from Lothal, referencing Star Wars Rebels. Here's a huge reference to A New Hope. As the Bad Batch and Cut make their way back into town, Wrecker hits his head in the background on a bar, which is a direct reference to that clumsy stormtrooper hitting his head on the door in the Death Star. Also in town, we can see one of these droids here. This guy first appeared in Jabba's palace and is known as the 8D smelter droid, smelting away poor other droids like this poor gonk, a droid which Wrecker is using to do bicep curls with towards the end of the episode. What a way to work out. We also see an RGC-16 speeder at one point which flies by, which has made a lot of appearances in the Clone Wars series. And now, as a bonus, I want to talk about Hunter's headband. To make their way into town, the Bad Batch have all changed their clothes and attire to disguise their actual identities as the Clone Force. They don't want to, wear their armor into town because there's a bunch of clones there, so they all get changed. However, Hunter keeps his headband on, which literally has the Clone Force 99 insignia. Even as Cut is boarding a ship, a clone stops him and says, "Hey, you look familiar," even though they literally both would look exactly the same. They have the exact same face, apart from the facial hair. So why is Hunter still wearing this? Isn't this just a massive giveaway? Is he just way too cool to take it off? Dude. Lose the headband. Maybe do something about the face paint too. I think we can, figure out who it is on our own without him needing the headband. Omega takes off her head thingy and we can still tell who she is. So Hunter, come on man, lose the headband for a couple minutes. Keep everyone's identity secret. Clones are starting to feel more like stormtroopers now anyway, more stupid, just following orders and being clumsy. So I'd love to know if you spotted anything I missed. See a detail worth mentioning in this episode of The Bad Batch? Let me know in the comments. And for more details you missed in The Bad Batch, you can go back and watch one of these about the first episode and stick around for lots more. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars gaming, news, updates, everything else, anything you want. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.